Before maps, before science, before history tried to explain the world with numbers and laws, the ancient Greeks explained reality with stories. Stories where the universe had intention, emotions, and memory. In this world, storms were acts of rage, love was a curse, and destiny was stronger than any god. Greek mythology was not invented to entertain. It was created to survive reality. In the beginning, there was chaos. Not chaos as confusion, but as emptiness. A boundless void without shape, order, or direction. From chaos emerged the first primordial forces: Gaia, the earth, solid and fertile; Tartarus, the deep abyss beneath all things; Eros, the force of attraction and creation; Nyx, the night; and Erebus, the darkness. These were not gods with faces or personalities. They were existence itself, raw and unstoppable. From Gaia came Uranus, the sky, who enveloped her completely. Together they created the Titans, beings of immense power, who ruled before time was measured. But Uranus feared his own children. He imprisoned them deep within Gaia, causing her unbearable pain. Betrayal was the first crime of the universe, and it demanded revenge. One Titan answered that call: Cronus. With a sickle forged by Gaia, he attacked his father, overthrowing the sky itself. Power changed hands, but fear did not disappear. Cronus became ruler of the cosmos, yet he was haunted by a prophecy. One of his own children would destroy him, just as he had destroyed his father. And so Cronus did what tyrants always do when faced with destiny. He tried to consume the future. One by one, he swallowed his children at birth, imprisoning them inside his body, freezing time itself. Only one escaped. Rhea, his wife, hid her youngest child and gave Cronus a stone wrapped in cloth. That child was Zeus. Zeus grew in secret, hidden from fate, but never free from it. When he came of age, he returned not with brute force, but with intelligence. He forced Cronus to regurgitate his siblings and united them against the Titans. What followed was the Titanomachi, a war so vast it reshaped existence. Mountains were torn apart, seas boiled, time itself trembled. In the end, Zeus and the Olympians won. The Titans were cast into Tartarus, guarded eternally. A new age began. From Mount Olympus, the gods ruled the universe. Zeus became king, not because he was perfect, but because he was powerful enough to impose order. He governed thunder, law, and divine justice. Yet he was impulsive, unfaithful, and often cruel. His rule reflected a brutal truth of Greek mythology. Authority does not equal morality. Beside him stood Hera, queen of the gods, protector of marriage and legitimacy. She was not weak nor submissive. She was wrathful, strategic, and unforgiving. Betrayal was her eternal wound, and mortals often paid the price for Zeus's infidelities. The sea belonged to Poseidon, violent, emotional, unpredictable. Earthquakes and storms followed his moods. To anger Poseidon was to invite annihilation. Below all things ruled Hades, master of the underworld. He did not seek worship or fear. He was inevitable. Death was not evil in Greek mythology. It was order. Wisdom and strategy took form in Athena, born fully armed from Zeus's head. She represented intelligence, restraint, and calculated warfare. Her opposite was Ares, embodiment of bloodlust and chaos, hated even by the gods. Love and desire were ruled by Aphrodite, whose beauty caused wars and ruined kingdoms. Art, prophecy, and reason belonged to Apollo, while freedom, the hunt, and the untamed world were claimed by Artemis. Yet the most important stories were not about gods. They were about humans who dared to stand near them. Heroes in Greek mythology were not saviors, they were experiments. Mortals with divine blood, granted extraordinary abilities, and cursed with impossible expectations. Strength did not save them. Intelligence did not protect them. The gods watched, interfered, and often destroyed what they themselves had created. Perseus faced Medusa, whose gaze turned men to stone. With divine tools and guidance he succeeded, but victory came at a cost. Medusa herself was once human, punished not for her crimes, but for a god's desire. Greek myths rarely offer clean justice. Theseus entered the labyrinth to face the Minotaur, a creature born from arrogance and divine punishment. Intelligence saved him, not strength. But his later failures proved that heroism is temporary. Then came Heracles, strongest of all mortals, yet broken by madness inflicted by the gods. His 12 labors were not rewards. They were penance. Each victory carved away his humanity until only suffering remained. And above all stood Achilles, the perfect warrior, nearly invincible, yet doomed. His story culminated in the Trojan War, where gods chose sides and mortals paid the price. Achilles knew his fate, glory or life. He chose glory. Greek mythology teaches that immortality is not living forever, but being remembered forever. The war ended, but suffering did not. Odysseus spent 10 years trying to return home, facing monsters, gods, and temptation itself. His journey was not about strength, but endurance. Intelligence was his weapon, patience his shield. Yet even he was powerless against fate. Above gods and mortals stood destiny itself. The Moirai, the fates, spun, measured, and cut the thread of life. No one escaped them, not kings, not heroes, not even Zeus. That is the final truth of Greek mythology. Power is fragile, beauty is dangerous, justice is imperfect, and fate is absolute. These myths survived because they were honest. They did not promise salvation. They did not guarantee happiness. They reflected humanity exactly as it is, ambitious, flawed, courageous, and terrified of the unknown. The gods of Olympus are not worshipped anymore, but their stories still rule us, in our fears, in our ambitions, in our endless struggle against destiny. And as long as humans ask why they exist, Greek mythology will never truly end.